Raise your hand if you were present for the original illegal leak of Midnight Sun in 2008, and if you remember the conspiracy theories. This is a unique experience, and I want to know, what was your impression when you first read it, and what was your impression when it happened, because I'm going to tell you mine. So if you're unfamiliar, in 2008, the first 12 chapters of Midnight Sun, which is Twilight from Edward's perspective, leaked on the interwebs, and that was apparently all of the book that Stephenie had written at the time, and this was why allegedly she stopped writing it. And if you remember, she said a lot of stuff during that time on her blog and on her website, and I wish I could find it, but she literally said something along the lines of like, if I finished it now, it wouldn't end the right way or something. And if you know what I'm talking about, just let me know. But this was like the standard message that you can still find. And she said, I think it is important for everybody to understand that what happened was a huge violation of my rights as an author, not to mention me as a human being. As the author of the Twilight Saga, I control the copyright, and it's up to the owner of the copyright to decide when the book should be made public. And she also said that she had a good idea of how the leak might have happened. There were very few copies of Midnight Sun that left my possession, and each was unique. Due to little changes I made to the manuscript at different times, I can tell when each left my possession and to whom it was given. She also said that she did not believe there was any malicious intent behind the initial distribution of the partial draft. And then what was really interesting is after this, she ended up just uploading those 12 chapters to her website. Like, well, it's out now, so you might as well read it here kind of thing. So this whole thing sparked a bunch of really fun conspiracy theories at the time. If you remember, back in the day, you could only really talk about Twilight on forums. So first of all, a lot of people thought that it was Rob who leaked it because he got a copy, you know, to get into character for Edward. And to be fair, that does sound pretty on brand. But a lot of people also thought that Stephenie did it for publicity, or like her team did, and it was like a whole stunt. And then some people also thought that she just did that as an excuse to not continue writing it, which is really funny because she did end up publishing Midnight Sun in 2020, so that was years later. And she said a few times that she almost didn't finish it and that she doesn't like being in Edward's headspace, and that's why y'all are never getting New Moon from Edward's perspective. She specifically said she's not doing that. But what's really wild is, for me, right, and I loved Edward at the time. Like, I was eating it up, and I know that's hard for some of you to believe, but I was obsessed with him. I, even as a young Edward stan, felt like I was reading something that I shouldn't have been reading about his dark, violent fantasies and like how creepy he is. Like, even at the time, like, it's not nearly as crazy or revealing as the full 700 pages inside that maniac's head, but even at the time I was like, oh, I ate it up, but I was like, this is a little, and a lot of people felt that way. And what I specifically remember is when Stephenie was talking about how she shared this draft of Midnight Sun with some of her family members, and specifically like she showed her mother Midnight Sun, and she was like, Edward is so scary, and Stephenie was like, Mom, Edward's a vampire. But anyway, I want to know, who do you personally think leaked Midnight Sun?